She sat there, motionless in her wheelchair, tiny hands folded quietly in her lap, a party hat sliding gently to one side of her head. The bright pink birthday cake in front of her, adorned with 10 flickering candles, looked far too festive for the somber silence surrounding her. All around the elegant garden setup, balloons, streamers, and perfectly arranged chairs, there was only emptiness. No children playing, no laughter, no songs. Just a little girl in a beautiful dress, staring quietly at her untouched cake. And watching her from a distance, unnoticed, was the man who would change everything, though he didn't know it yet. If you're watching this now, you're probably like the rest of us, moved by kindness, drawn to stories where love triumphs in the most unexpected moments. Stay with us till the end, because what happened that day didn't just melt hearts, it restored faith in humanity. And if it touches yours too, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Diaries, where true kindness always finds its way home. It all started with a mistake. Ethan was a single dad, juggling 3 part-time jobs, and trying to give his 9-year-old daughter Mia a summer worth remembering. She hadn't smiled much since her mom passed away. And this weekend, he had promised her a picnic in the park. Not knowing that his GPS would mess up the location and lead them to the back garden of a luxury estate that looked like a palace out of a fairy tale. They stopped at the edge of the lawn when they saw the balloons, thinking maybe it was a public event. But what caught Mia's attention wasn't the fancy cake or the decorations, it was the little girl sitting all alone, her chin resting on her hand, eyes looking at the ground like she was somewhere far away. "Daddy," Mia whispered, tugging on his sleeve. "Why is no one with her?" Ethan hesitated. "Maybe the party hasn't started yet. But, it looks like it's ending." Mia looked up at him with that familiar mix of curiosity and concern, the same way her mother used to look at him when he was overthinking things. He couldn't say no to her, not when that lonely little girl tugged at his own heart too. He took Mia's hand and walked toward the birthday girl, expecting someone to stop them. A guard, a nanny, anyone. But no one came. Just a staff member picking up leftover gift bags from the other side of the garden. When they got close, the girl looked up. Her eyes were gray, distant, and just a bit surprised. But she didn't say anything. Ethan smiled gently. "Hi there. Sorry if we're intruding. We got lost and found ourselves here. My daughter saw you and wondered if, maybe we could join you." The girl blinked, slowly, as if the idea was hard to process. Then, just barely, she nodded. Mia didn't hesitate. She sat beside her, grinning. "Hi. I'm Mia. Is it your birthday? That cake looks awesome." A faint smile twitched across the girl's lips. "I'm Ellie." The next few minutes were a blur of sugar and laughter. Mia talked a mile a minute about their picnic plans, about how her dad made the worst sandwiches but the best jokes. Ellie mostly listened, but now and then, she giggled. Not a loud laugh, but just enough to change everything. Ethan cut the cake carefully, offered slices, and made them sing "Happy Birthday" together, complete with goofy harmonies that made Ellie chuckle under her breath. And for the first time that day, the garden came alive, not because of decorations, but because someone saw Ellie. Really saw her. They were just finishing the last bites of cake when a tall woman with perfectly styled hair and a power suit appeared at the edge of the garden, phone in hand. She stopped mid-step when she saw the scene in front of her, her daughter smiling beside a strange man and a little girl with icing on her nose. Her name was Victoria Langston, CEO of Langston Enterprises. One of the richest women in the city. And for all her power and success, she felt utterly powerless when it came to her daughter. Ellie had been paralyzed after a car accident 2 years ago. The guilt still haunted Victoria, she had been the one driving. She survived with minor injuries, but Ellie's spinal cord was damaged. Since then, Victoria buried herself in work, throwing lavish parties and hiring the best doctors, therapists, and caretakers money could buy. But none of it brought Ellie back to life. No one stayed. Friends disappeared. Classmates stopped inviting her. Even family visits became fewer and far between. No maid or companion lasted more than a week. They either got uncomfortable or frustrated with Ellie's silence. But now she saw something she hadn't seen in a long time. Ellie laughing. Smiling. Eating cake with someone. Victoria slowly stepped forward. Ethan stood up, dusting his jeans awkwardly. "I'm so sorry," he said quickly. "We didn't mean to intrude. My daughter." "Made my daughter smile," Victoria finished, her voice quieter than expected. She looked down at Ellie. "Sweetheart, are you okay?" Ellie nodded. "This is Mia. And her dad. They're funny." Victoria knelt beside her, blinking away tears. "You look happy." Ellie looked at her mom and then back at Mia. "Can they come again?" There was a long silence. Ethan didn't know what to say. He didn't want to overstep. And Mia, sweet as ever, simply hugged Ellie. "I'd love to," Mia whispered. And from that moment, a connection was born that no one had expected. Victoria invited them back the next day. And the next. What started as a chance encounter turned into playdates, shared meals, and eventually something far deeper. Ellie and Mia became inseparable, each healing the other in ways even therapy couldn't. Ethan, who never thought a woman like Victoria would even notice a man like him, found himself unexpectedly drawn to her warmth, once the ice around her melted. He helped her slow down. She helped him believe again. And Ellie? Ellie began to live. There were challenges, of course. Ellie still had days when she cried, frustrated by her wheelchair. Victoria had to learn how to truly be there for her daughter, not just provide for her. Ethan struggled with insecurity, feeling like a guest in a world that wasn't his. But they worked through it, one moment at a time. With patience, understanding, and unconditional kindness. And on Ellie's next birthday, her 11th, there was no empty table. No lonely chair. There was laughter, chaos, and cake on everyone's nose. And this time, when the candles flickered, Ellie made a wish out loud. "I wish we always stay together." And they did. So if you've ever doubted the power of a small act, a smile, a question, a moment of kindness, remember Ethan. A single dad, who simply asked, "Can we join you?" Because sometimes, the smallest invitation changes everything.